Hello, my name is Stefan Hoppe and I'm the Global Vice President of the OPC Foundation. This presentation is about collaborations with the OPC Foundation, companion specifications. I give you an overview, about the benefits, but also answer the key question, how to start a new collaboration. Let's see how in history humans communicated and interacted with machines. We humans learned how machines were working, and each machine provided different interfaces, different data, so it was a huge effort to look to all the documentations different by each vendor, and so there were really high efforts for humans. In future, wouldn't it be great that the machines are supporting us human beings and that the machines describe in our language, somehow self-describing, that we have a better and quicker understanding? That would be great. And that's exactly the idea of so-called OPC UA Companion specifications, to describe interfaces, data, and the meaning of machines, of devices, of services. So here you see that this is really something what we human beings understand much quicker, and so really the self-description is reducing configuration, but also supports us to quickly understand and have a better information overview. Let's think about this. If we standardize everything, is that good or is that a bad story, because then we get replaced? Let's look in our private consumer world. If we buy a new printer, we go to a shop and obviously all these printers have the same interfaces. They provide a USB connector or TCP or wireless, but that's exactly what we expect and that's why we buy it. But we decide which model we buy on the so-called internal functionalities and differentiation, like is it a single page printer, double page, black-white or colored printer. These are differentiations which are inside the device with different functionality or additional functionality. Maybe printers also have external capabilities, like you print to a cloud service and it gets printed inside at home. And now think about this transferred into the industrial world. And it's reality today. If you see RFID readers on the right side, they have already the same connector. It's OPC UA. It's the same protocol providing a much better and higher security level. And we see injection molding machines from different vendors, and they also have the same protocol, OPC UA, also with higher security. But still they differentiate inside in the functionality a little bit. They have, next to the standard, also their vendor-specific extensions. Let's get an overview about the existing collaborations with our partners. We have a web page, a landing page on the OPC Foundation web, where you see all the logos and a little bit text behind. And again, OPC UA is not focused onto one specific market. It's found everywhere. It could be the MDIS organization, more focused on oil and gas. Could be the AIM Association, which is doing auto ID devices. Or PLC Open, taking care on IEC 1131 logic and function blocks. So it's really colorful, and that's what you see with all kinds of field bus organizations or medical devices, but also the VDMA, which I'm talking a little bit more in detail. So the core message is, if every vertical market is using OPC but still keep their own information model and define their own information model, with OPC UA this gets interoperable. And that's exactly what we need. If you go to the landing page, you see for each organization a little bit more details and the background, what's all the collaboration about, and what is the status, and who is my contact partner, and which companies are behind. So just take this as an example here about the Auto ID group, where a lot of companies are behind. They already released their companion specification, and you can buy devices from stock. There's also a lot of videos on the OPC Foundation web under resource, multimedia. You see a lot of videos about the core technology, but also collaboration. And of course, this is an ongoing process and we will produce more and more. Let's talk a little bit more on the VDMA, which is a key partner for the OPC Foundation. This is the European largest association of machine builders, and the VDMA is completely committed to OPC UA as the standard communication layer for the Industry 4.0 challenge. The VDMA created a brochure, a guidance for OPC UA based communication, and this brochure is available in German and English. Inside the brochure you see a great overview on the steps how to migrate and integrate OPC UA into your factory and what does it mean and what are the benefits. So today, if you have an IP-based network and you just integrate OPC UA somehow, immediately you have the benefits of increasing security. But for each project you have to configure and find out, connect to a UA server and then find out his functionality, because the meaning behind the interfaces have not been standardized for devices. So wouldn't it be great if you talk to two different RFID readers from two different vendors, that they would expose the same semantic information model to the outside world, the same APIs, the same data? That's not a dream, that's reality, you can buy it. And that's exactly the second migration step, to check are there so-called companion specs available. After that there are more steps possible. For example, if there's nothing or want to differentiate, you can write your own extension to that. I'll give you a short example about these benefits. Think about the auto ID industry with RFID reader, barcode reader, 1D, 2D and so on. If you want to have a standardized access out of your IT level or even inside the shop floor to these devices, it would be great that everybody has exactly the same OPC UA connectivity, but also the same meaning and offering of services behind. And this is exactly what they defined in the so-called Auto ID companion specification. And here you see a great sample that people who have even no knowledge about the details of Auto ID can immediately understand and get a feeling of provided services. Like here, read tag, kill tag, write tag. Immediately you have a feeling on, okay, I need read tag to get information from my RFID tag. There's a bunch of videos available for this group and details, so please have a look there. This was really done in a very quick way. Within 2 years they created the release candidate, they made a prototype, they optimized the specification and released it for the world. What is now the benefit? On the left side you see that every vendor is just integrating OPC UA into devices, into the machines, into software. But then with each project you need to configure, you have engineering efforts to connect to that specific RFID reader. Because company A has provided different services compared to company B. On the right side, all vendors are supporting the Auto ID for OPC UA companion specification. And now if you are a client and you want to consume the data, you just have to think about which methods you need, the read tag, the kill tag, the write tag, and immediately you have access to a huge number of devices in that vertical market, and you can choose what is the best device for yourself. So we are reducing engineering efforts a lot. It's really about plug and produce. So what are the rules to start a new group? First of all, we have to understand that from the OPC Foundation point of view, there are 3 different groups. Number 1, an internal group. We have internal groups, for example, for IC 61850, where only OPC members can join and work and help here out. Then we have a so-called joint category, which is exactly between the OPC Foundation and external partners. And we come together and create something, and this is normally the most popular category. And then we have also external groups where maybe even the foundation is not aware of. If you want to implement OPC UA into your solution, You do not have to be a member of the foundation. If you want to do modeling, you do not have to be a member of the foundation. By the way, you can even do certification without being a member. We just charge you a little bit higher, and that's fair. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about the differences, and that's more about the basic rules and the process. I'm not talking too much about the internal group. Obviously, only OPC members can join. It's not one company who can just start a new group. There have to be a number of companies. And of course, there is a voting process behind. So the Technical Advisory Council has to vote on it, and they are also reviewing the specification and so on. Let's focus more on the so-called joint working group. This is normally initiated by our partner, and together we create a so-called Memorandum of Understanding. It's a high-level paper to get a feeling on what is the goal of this group. And this Memorandum of Understanding has to be signed, but also accepted internally in the OPC Foundation by two different groups, the Technical Control Board and the Marketing Control Board. So the external partner has to dial into a web conference, give a 10-minute presentation, that the two groups get a basic understanding of this. The benefit of this so-called joint working group is that later on we can make dual logos on the specification because it's done by both organizations. So we have marketing benefits, but also the benefit that the specification who is done by this group gets reviewed by the Technical Advisory Council. So to then start concrete with the work, we need a second document, which is called the charter document, which is a little bit more technical, explaining the roadmap, how the group is organized, how they work together, who is the chairman, and so on. After the charter is available, both groups agree to start a call for participation. There is a kickoff meeting. In that kickoff meeting, there is a chairman to be voted. This could be from the OPC Foundation, but also from the partner side. The OPC Foundation is even helping with IT infrastructure, so this group can share all the documents on the OPC Foundation SharePoint. Again, this is the only way to have both logos, the partner logo, but also the OPC Foundation logo on the title page and advertise it as this has been done together with the OPC Foundation. Once a group has finalized the work, the result gets back to the Technical Advisory Council, and this group has then 30 days time to vote on it or give feedback what has to be changed and adapted a little bit. So when the group has started and what do they have to deliver at the end? The result, which is given back to the Technical Advisory Council, is the documentation itself, the companion specification with the scope, the fundamentals, the profiles, but we also want to have a note set. This is exactly how the namespace is built up, that others can immediately download this and have a quicker RAM start. And then we also ask for help on technical articles on our wiki platform, that it's easier to really get the basics and have a better understanding quickly. What we also require for release is a prototype implementation. This is really helpful to see, is it really working, or are there issues which should be fixed in the specification. And obviously we recommend also autonomous groups, external groups, to fulfill this procedure. It helps a lot. So the OPC Foundation is helping you. We have templates for the Memorandum of Understanding, but also a template for the charter document. Please contact us and we can provide you their templates. And as you see, there's a long list of companion specification. This is just an example list, but we have PLC Open, AIM, the CERCOS, the oil and gas MDIS, but also, as mentioned before, the VDMA with 38 vertical markets where they started already with 3. So this is a huge wave coming, and you have to make a decision if you want to ride the wave or if you want to be a late adopter. Okay, this was the overview on the collaborations. If you want to start a collaboration, please contact me, myself, somebody else from the OPC Foundation, or if you're inside the VDMA, contact the person from the VDMA. please navigate to the OPC Foundation landing page and get more details. Thank you very much.